Hey there, everybody. Welcome to City National Arena. You have two good-looking guys with some playoff beards here. A lot of players here also at City National. I'm John. That's Matt. Before we get into this match, shameless plug, tonight, 5:30, Tony Cordasco and you and me, we're going to do our first kind of simulcast.
Simulcast, yeah.
Right?
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
The podcast, and we'll stream it. Just hop on and make fun of Tony. Okay, so optional skate here today. Not a lot of players showing up. Clearly, I think good reason not to. James Neal, however, did show up today. Neal, and then you have Brad Hunt, and you just had some other guys that are the healthy scratches. But they're all here. What'd you just think of the demeanor in the locker room? We talked with a bunch of players. Marcia Show in there, Marc-Andre Fleury, Braden McNabb. So multiple players were made available to us just 12 hours or so after they pull off a great victory. What was the vibe in the locker room like?
Same as it's been all year. I mean, and I asked Coach Gallant the question in his press conference, how does this team have the ability to just put every single game behind them, whether good, bad, they just move on to the next one. And you can tell in the locker room that's the demeanor that they go with. They just it's business as usual. They're loose, they're relaxed, they're just having a good time, going out and playing hockey. And I think that's the biggest strength of this team is their ability to just go out and play the game the way they know how, the way that's fun for them, and that's why they continue to win games.
Really, and I went around and asked everybody that I talked to, what was the difference here between Game 1 and Game 2? And you could just, they all said the same thing. Gallant and all the guys said they just played a lot faster. They played a lot faster from the start. Now, the start was a little sloppy, I'd say, but they had the speed there. But clearly, this team believes that they can play with this team, and they proved it over and over again. So it's just, as you said, and as we've been saying all along, there really was no panic. There was no sort of sense of that, they couldn't hang in the series. However, there was some urgency, and they showed that right away in Game 2. Did you get the sense of that?
Yeah, I think the difference in the start between the two games is that they were more comfortable with what Winnipeg was going to throw at them in the second game. They knew that they were going to come out on fire like that. The first game obviously prepared them for that. Winnipeg looked the same in the first 10 minutes of Game 2 as they did in Game 1, but Vegas was able to weather that storm. They didn't give up the goals, and we've seen that before. We saw it in the Sharks series. We saw it in the Kings series where they come out and they take the other team's best punches and don't give anything up, and then there you go. Right. Here comes the first goal, here comes the second goal, and they just turn it around on them. And, that's what this team's good at, is just relaxing and playing their game and frustrating the other team. I mean, their forecheck was phenomenal last night. They were on every single loose puck. Just that swarming mentality, like a bunch of bees, man, just all over the place, not giving you any chance to breathe.
So Gerard Gallant having his press conference just moments ago, maybe 5 minutes or so ago, we just got out of there and then came out here, but he was asked about the doubters, because the doubters are still existing. There's a lot of people out there that still don't think this team is for real. And again, you got to love his answer. Yeah. You got to love his answer. We're not out here to prove anything to the doubters. We're out here to come out and win hockey games. Yeah. But, again, do you think there's a little bit of that doubt in the Winnipeg Jets' mind? I mean, we know in the fans' mind. I mean, and we heard it last night when they went dead silent. They were stunned going down 2-0, but do you think the Jets have a little bit of this, I guess we'll believe it when we see it. However, this is a team, sorry, I'm droning on. No. This, I think the last couple seasons, the Jets didn't make the playoffs last year, right? And now they're making this run to, the Western Conference Finals, but do you think this team still doesn't believe in the Knights? I mean, I pick it up.
I think the Jets as players believe in the other players on the other side of the ice, because they've seen Marc-Andre Fleury in the league for 12, 13 years. They've seen, why am I blanking? James Neal. Thank you. I was trying to say Neil Smith because I was going to Nate Schmidt after that. I mean, they've seen all these guys in the league for years. So when they're on the ice, the jersey doesn't matter. The logo doesn't matter. These are guys that have been in the league for a long time, and these are proven guys that have played games in the playoffs. As far as the fans are concerned, yeah, those players are still out there, but they see our Winnipeg Jets and this new upstart Vegas Golden Knights. So I think the fans have a very different sense of what's going on than the actual players on the ice. And that sense is, how are we losing to a team that wasn't even a team just a year ago? And that's just a fan mentality that it's irrelevant at this point, because to say this team isn't going to be good and they're just waiting for them to lose, they're in the Western Conference Finals. And we heard it from Tony. Sorry, Tony, we're going to bag on you again. We heard it from Tony all year, waiting for that losing streak, right? Oh, here comes the hard road trip. Here comes the ridiculous home stretch. They're not going to be able to win. They're not going to be able to win. And they just keep winning. That's what this team is. They're a group of winners who are going out and playing good hockey as a team, and they're going to continue to play good hockey until this run is over, and that could end with a cup.
Gallant, talking about Nate Schmidt, you just mentioned him, but the announcers last night gave him a lot of love, and Gallant nailed it. He said Nate has had 2 excellent games, right back to back. He did play well in game 1, but you saw a little bit more from him in game 2 as far as his speed goes and just the way that he was playing matched up against their top line from Winnipeg. Right. So he played excellent, but you were around Marc-Andre. Anything special that Fleury talked about?
No, just, going on to the next one, he was asked about weathering those first 10 minutes again and whether or not it was good to kind of get peppered early on and get into the groove. And I think that's how he feels. It loosens him up, gets him comfortable. Talked about being able to see the shots. His defense doing a good job in front of him of opening up space and letting him see the puck all the way in. He was able to track it, and we know what he's going to bring. I mean, he's had bounce-back games 1,000 times this season already. He's played like the best goalie in the league throughout the entire playoffs, and last night was another example of that. The one goal he gave up on the power play, if you asked him, I'm sure he'd tell you he'd want that one back. It just kind of snuck through under his arm and bounced off of him a couple times before it crept over the goal line. So that was his only mistake, and even that mistake was almost avoided. And again, looking for his 5th shutout, and he was that close to getting it. He's been phenomenal the whole playoff.
Michael loves the beards. Thank you. We are growing them out. Matt's got a little gray, so it shows you
Matt's got a
beauty,
lot of gray.
beauty, age.
Yes.
One last thing I wanted to point out from what we talked with the players about, I asked Derek England, about the atmosphere, because clearly a lot has been made about the Winnipeg Jets atmosphere, just over 15,000. I said, kind of compare and contrast.
Was one of them. He was up there in section 317, Mike, something like that, I believe.
Well, Michael can maybe compare it for us a little bit, and you can rebut what Derek England said. But Derek was very measured with his words. I just said, I know it's loud out there, but give us some perspective. Is it louder than Vegas? Is it close to it? And I don't know. He kind of paused a little bit, which makes me think. I mean, it's neck and neck as far as how loud those arenas are. But you got to think coming into Game 3, it's just it will never be as loud as it's been in Las Vegas.
This place is
for
going
tomorrow
to be on
night's
fire
game.
tomorrow night. I'm excited to see what the city has to offer the fans in the NHL, because they've already had a taste. We see the pregame, we see the noise, the music, the bass, the towels, everything that comes with the crowd. But somehow, some way, since the playoffs have started, they've been able to elevate that intensity with every single game. I mean, if you go back to Game 5 against the Sharks, coming home, tied 2-2, looking to take an edge in the series, and the crowd was just insane, and the team fed off of that. And I mentioned, again, Tony, I'm going to crush you every chance that I have, man. We mentioned on the show to Tony that Vegas was going to have momentum coming into this game. Even though they had lost Game 4 to the Sharks, they were going to have momentum because they were coming home. And that's what this arena does for them. They get out to those crazy fast starts and feed off of them, and that's exactly what they did. I expect more of the same tomorrow night.
Yep. I don't see how they lose Game 3. Winnipeg doesn't know what it's in for, I think, when they come to the home crowd, just like Vegas had an adjustment period in Game 1. Anything else to add about what you heard in the locker room here this morning?
No, just a bunch of even-keeled guys. Really happy to be home, it sounded like. I'm sure they get tired of us, but it's been a while since the bulk of us have been around. So it was good to see the guys in there again, relaxed, just looking to get some rest and get on the ice tomorrow. They're all super excited about what the crowd is going to bring. I mean, everybody asked them. We all know the battle with the Nashville fans and the Winnipeg fans and Vegas fans and who's the best, and they're all excited to see what comes out tomorrow. Nate Schmidt yesterday after the game said he expects pandemonium, so looking forward to it.
All right, so we'll be back 5:30-ish, and we'll have our simulcast, so hope you tune in then. But from Adam, John, we'll see you later.